Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Shannon claims Skip must be hanging out with Snoop pre-show for some of his thoughts. Skip suggests that Doc Rivers should be fined for his actions last night. The guys debate how much the Cowboys should be using Ezekiel Elliott. Rap legend Snoop comes to say why Jeff Fisher must go immediately and shares his perspective on the NFL protest. Anything you want to say to start, Shannon?
You know what, Skip? I want to apologize to you. Yesterday,
This is sarcastic.
No, Skip. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I want to apologize. I ripped your notes up because your argument for Michigan being in the playoffs, I thought was worthy of your notes being torn up.
Except you grabbed my Cowboy notes and you tore up my Cowboy info that I could not use on you when we did the Cowboy topic.
So I just want to make sure that you know that I apologize.
Yeah, got it. April Fool.
I will say, though, out of all the notes he could rip up, the Cowboys ones, I think you've got down. So.
I got it right here.
Yeah,
it was nice of you to apologize. Doc Rivers was ejected last night after receiving 2 technicals in the first overtime of the Clippers' 5-point loss to the Nets. Doc argued a foul call by official Lauren Holtkamp when the Clippers were down by 2. The Clippers have a history with Holt. Back in 2015, she called a technical on Chris Paul, prompting Paul to say after the game that officiating, quote, might not be for her. Doc addressed his ejection after the game. Let's take a listen.
Well, I thought it was awful tech. Honestly, I think you guys know why the tech was called. The official who had nothing to do with the play thought I was yelling at Lauren, and I wasn't. We were actually, she said, Doc, you're right or whatever, let's walk back. We were walking. We wasn't even arguing. So it was the damnedest tech to give at that time, and what the league's going to do, they're going to fall back on he crossed half court. That's you see tomorrow, that's what they're going to say, and we're going to all know that that's not the real reason. I don't think an official that has nothing to do with the play should be giving someone a tech. That's my thing. That's why I got upset. He didn't know what we were talking about, and it wasn't even an argument. So, but listen, that had nothing to do with the game, and that's not why we lost the game.
Skip, whose side are you on here, Doc or the refs?
I must admit, I watched this game last night. I tweeted about it when it ended. I was more on Doc's side last night than I am now. The harder I looked at the play in question, the more I am on Lauren Holtkamp's side in the way she handled this. Doc Rivers, in the end, let his anger go completely over the edge. He needs to be fined for it because this became a bad look for the NBA. And in the end, it appeared that he wanted to do bodily harm, not to Lauren Holtkamp, but to Kenny Maurer, the ref who called the first technical foul, as he had to be restrained from getting out there. And I don't think it was for show. I think he legitimately lost it, and it's a bad look for a coach I love and respect, Doc Rivers. But as Joy just pointed out, this whole incident was triggered because of the past friction between all the Clippers and Lauren Holtkamp, who is now the lone female referee in the National Basketball Association. So you mentioned the Chris Paul incident and the quote, the infamous quote from Chris Paul, this might not be for her.
Right.
For which he was fined $25,000, questioning whether she even belonged to have her job in this league. So last night, 18 seconds left, and this is a little bit inside basketball, so hang with me for a second, but there's an unwritten rule that in this situation, the head coach can say to a referee nearby, either we're going to foul intentionally or we're not going to foul intentionally after a DeAndre Jordan free throw. And in this case, Doc said we're not going to take the foul, trying to tip her off to the fact that we're not going to try to foul intentionally.
Correct.
The problem here was that DeAndre made the free throw, and as the ball is inbounded into the corner, 2 Clips run to the corner and double team trying to steal the basketball, and I thought Brandon Bass did foul. It got very physical in the corner, and just because the head coach warns you we're not going to take the intentional foul doesn't mean that as the referee in question, you can't say, yeah, but you actually did foul unintentionally.
Right.
They unintentionally fouled. It's borderline. You could have gone either way. Maybe you let it go. But I cannot condemn her for calling that foul.
Right.
Doc did. But Doc didn't lose it at that point. He walked up the floor with her. Lauren, I told you we're not going to foul intentionally. Why'd you call it? And they had a good conversation, according to both sides, as he walked up the court. But he passed the point of no return, which is mid-court, and it's supposed to be an automatic technical if you go too far.
By the letter of the law.
By the letter of the law. But he says, we're having a good conversation. And I think Doc sort of forgot where he was. And because of the past friction, he's trying to make sure everything's going to be okay with her. And Kenny Maurer from the far free throw line says, boom, no, you cannot cross that line. And I think Doc thought that Kenny Maurer was overprotecting Lauren Holtkamp because of the past incidents with the Clippers. Gotcha. So as Kenny Maurer approaches Doc, he begins to lose it. How dare you? How could you? Kenny Maurer says, because you crossed the point. Nope, and here they go, and Doc lost it. It's just such a bad look for the league. I was shocked. I've never seen Doc do that before. Right. And it's riveting video because it's real, man. Yeah. Lost it completely. So in the end, I think Lauren Holtkamp actually made a very defensible call. And in the end, I think all this was also exacerbated by the fact that Doc's team that I picked to win the West, that got off to a great start, has now lost 3 in a row and lost a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter and was losing in overtime by 2 at that point. And proceeded to lose its 3rd straight game. So that was all, the frustration boiled over, but it all started with the past conflict with Lauren Holtkamp.
I was always on the official side. Because just because you say we're not going to do something, she has an obligation to call what she sees.
Does.
Even though you said we're not going to foul, but what's she supposed to do? Well, Doc said they weren't going to foul, even though they're hatcheting the guy. Or I'm not going to call that because Doc said they weren't going to foul. Okay, she called the foul. Well, I told you, Lauren, we weren't going to foul in that situation. Yeah, Doc, I know you said that, but the guy fouled him, okay? Can we agree? We'll agree to disagree, but you said they weren't going to foul. I thought they fouled. I blew my whistle, okay? They're carrying on. Doc, you got to know where you are. Skip, we've seen this in football numerous times. The official that's closest to the play, he doesn't throw the flag for pass interference. The official way in the back, and then all of a sudden you see the yellow flag coming to your screen. Doc, you know the rules. There are certain things that you can't do both literally and figuratively. Figuratively, I mean literally, you can't say certain words to an official. You know it's automatic T. And possibly an automatic ejection, regardless.
Yep.
Doc, you know you can't go past midcourt, even if you're having a casual, good conversation. You can't. So for you to break that rule and then say, well, he had nothing to do with the play, well, why did he wouldn't have thrown it, teed you up had you not crossed midcourt? All that, yeah, I get the fact about Lauren Holtkamp. She called the tech on Chris Paul years ago, and Chris Paul said this probably isn't for her. Yeah. And the ref.
She also called another one last year for exaggerated clapping on his part.
Right.
But go ahead.
And I get all of that. And the ref association sided with her. The players sided with Chris Paul. This wasn't about. Doc got blowing up about the foul and all this. That wasn't what this was about. The Clippers had an 18-point lead at one point in time against the Brooklyn Nets. They had a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter. And his team started BSing because they thought they had this one in the bag.
He talked about that after the game.
And the Nets kept playing. They
started thinking they were really good.
Yes, and the Nets kept playing hard.
Right.
And the next thing you know, they're in a ball game and they're behind in the ball game. You respect everyone, you underestimate no one, and you'll never have a problem. See, they got comfortable. They started underestimating the Nets.
Okay,
because in years past, the Nets probably would have laid down, Skip.
You were right. That's the context. But this is just my 2 cents from a distance. I don't know this for a fact, but it's my opinion that deep down, CP3 and Doc think that Lauren Holtkamp is not a very good official. That's what they think. And so the conflict is always on sort of hair trigger, like it's about to boil over, and then it boiled over.
Yeah.
Does that
definitely obvious high emotion.
Had they won by double digits, are we having this discussion?
Heck no.
Exactly. So that's what this is about. This was about the loss. 18-point. You have an 18-point lead, and you lose to the Nets?
Yeah, it's frustration.
Yes.
No mercy. Ezekiel Elliott leads the league with nearly 1,200 rushing yards for the Cowboys, is on pace for the 6th most carries by a rookie in NFL history. But according to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, Elliott's rushing attempts won't be reduced. Let's take a listen.
The more we can give Ezekiel the ball, then I think the better. We're winning with that. We're winning by wearing them down on defense. And the reason being, I look back at Emmitt Smith, everybody expressed, including ourselves, concern because Emmitt was carrying such a load. And, of course, he carried the ball more than I think anyone has in their career in the NFL. But Emmitt was solid. He was certainly productive.
Shannon, do you agree with Jerry?
Absolutely. Give him the ball. He's the reason why you have the success you have, because it allows Dak, it protects Dak, and Dak has played well. Skip, he mentioned, he's on pace to carry the ball, the 5th most in NFL history for a rookie. Let me mention the guys he'd be on the list with. Erik Dickerson, Hall of Fame. George Rogers, who was Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
He also won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins.
Yep.
Curtis Martin in the Hall of Fame. Edgerrin James is on the Hall of Fame ballot. That would be pretty good company if Ezekiel Elliott could have the career these guys had.
Yep.
Why would you not? You got this young man to be your workhorse because you saw the success your team had in 2014 when you had DeMarco Murray, who led the league in rushing with 1,848 yards. So you won time of possession. You can play action pass off of that. And Dez had 16 touchdowns, was first-team All-Pro at the receiver position. Your team is based, you have 3 first-round picks on the offensive line. You have a first-round pick at running back. You got this young man to be your bell cow. What are you saving him for? Skip, you don't know if and when you'll ever be back in this situation. You don't know if you'll ever have it this good. Because I worked with a guy for 10 years named Dan Marino, and he told me, he said, Shannon, if somebody would have told me that I wouldn't get back to the Super Bowl after my 2nd year, I'd have never, ever believed him. Jerry, you don't know, and I agree 1,000% with Jerry. You paid this guy. You gave Ezekiel Elliott, his entire contract is almost guaranteed. So I might as well get a return on my investment. I drafted you with the 4th pick in the draft. I've given you $20+ million guaranteed. I'm gonna hand you the ball. If you got to carry it 400 times to get me and this team where we need to be, Ezekiel Elliott is getting the football. I'm not worried about tomorrow. I don't coach today, worried about tomorrow. And that's what Jason Garrett should think. And well, that's what Coach Jerry Jones should think. I'm not coaching today, worried about tomorrow. I'm giving Ezekiel Elliott the ball as many times as he can take it because I want to win. I'm going to make sure I get home field advantage. And then maybe if I get home field advantage sewn up, I might, Zeke, want you to be a little fresher for the playoffs. But as of right now, Skip, because I don't have anything clinched or sewn up, I'm running Ezekiel Elliott till the tires come off him.
You have changed your tune completely about this.
I want Jerry to send me an ornament. Jerry sent out those big, nice Christmas ornaments, so I got to be good.
You want an ornament now?
Yeah.
Do you have your fingers crossed?
Nope.
I think you had them both crossed behind your back.
Nope. I want Jerry, if you watch it, send me the Christmas ornament.
What just got into you? You've been all year telling me they're going to use them up and then they're going to discard it, right?
I want the Christmas ornament.
I'm dumbfounded, but I like it because I completely agree, except I don't want them to use him up. And I love the way they're using him because I think people lose sight of the fact about every 3rd series, Alfred Morris comes in for a whole series, and it drives me nuts. Put him back in. He's half the show, obviously, right? But Alfred Morris comes in, and they give him, he'll get, 10, 12 carries a game, and then some passing downs, little Lance Dunbar, who's a spark plug, he comes in for Zeke on some passing downs. So I'm saying, use him up how? He's averaging 22 carries a game. He's at 243. So if I do the math times 5, they've got 5 games left, that would put him at 353 for the year. Are they going to use him more down the stretch? If need be, maybe.
Yes.
But it could be they've clinched something at some point. So maybe one game he won't play at the end. Maybe the game at Philly he doesn't play. So I look at Emmitt Smith that Jerry Jones brought up. Now, this is where history applies. You can look at what your bell cow back did in his big carry years. Emmitt Smith, 91, 94, 95, had more carries than Zeke is on pace to have this year as a rookie. Emmitt had 365, 368, and then 377 in that 95 year in which they won the Super Bowl. Well, that's a lot of wear and tear.
Yes.
Emmitt only went on to play after that 9 more years. Well, I think he did okay.
Yes.
So I think he figured it out. Now, is Zeke more high collision than Emmitt was?
Yes.
You better believe he is. So does that scare me a little bit? It does. But Zeke has that knack about him. He's got he's got some Von Miller in the body as far as that elasticity, where he will elect to try to run over somebody, but he doesn't get run over when he's not expecting it.
Correct.
So usually I don't see him take shots where I say, ooh, boy, you weren't ready for that one. He's usually ready for the shot because he's going to deliver the shot first.
Yes.
So I'm looking at this. I look at DeMarco. He's high collision, man.
Yes.
He's going to run into wall after wall, try to run through the wall. In 2014, he had 392 carries, it's a lot. And he got used mostly up. He's having a little resurgence this year, but they have...
It helped that he went to Philly and they didn't use him properly, so he didn't get any more wear and tear. And now he's fresh going at the Titans. But had he gone to the Eagles and they used him like the Cowboys, I'm not so sure that he'd have what he has left for the Titans.
So I am completely with Jerry, and for the first time in the history of this show, you are completely with Jerry on this issue.
Yep.
Is this a new turn of events? Does that mean you're on my bandwagon now?
No, I'm on Jerry's side because Jerry gives the best ornaments of anybody. And but if I didn't agree with
I never have gotten one.
Really? You do all that.
You know why? Because I'm an objective Cowboy fan.
Me too.
You're not a fan. I'm a fan, lifelong.
I'm objective.
1960.
But I thought he said all, like, I bet you Howie and Terry and them got one. I'm sure the crew at the other networks got them because I got them for like 6 years. I'm talking about they really nice.
What do you do with these ornaments?
Put them on the Christmas tree, Joe. What do you do with Christmas ornaments?
What, you put up a Christmas tree in your house?
Yeah.
Not in Atlanta, here in LA. You decorate your house?
No. But I got a house decorated in Atlanta.
You do? I thought you were the Grinch who stole football, right?
Whoa. What do you mean, Skip? I mean, look, I agree with Jerry. Ezekiel Elliott, this is why Skip, and I said this, if you draft a guy, because everybody said the running back position is dead, it's outdated, it's obsolete, if you move up, if you take a guy with the 4th pick in the draft, I said he needs to be Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson was taken with the 8th pick, and so we know what kind of career he had. Zeke needs to be that type of back, and he looks to be well on his way. I'm not worried. You don't see Coach Belichick say, you know what, we're only going to throw 15 times because we want to save Tom Brady's arm. No, I'm trying to win. And Ezekiel Elliott gives you a better chance of winning the more carries he gets as opposed, he's not on the pitch count. Sometimes pitchers, first round pitcher, high draft pick, he's on a pitch count, he's on an innings count. That's not true for running back, Skip, because that's the easiest position to transition from college to pro. All you have to do is learn how to pick up blitz protection because most colleges, the running back, he doesn't do a good job of that. But Ezekiel Elliott is exceptional at that. He's one of the best guys. He's one of the best rookie guys to picking up the blitz. I played with a guy, Clinton Portis, was unbelievable at picking up blitz protection. And so with that being said, Skip, I'm not decreasing this workload because I might increase it because I want to make
You know what? Now I get it. You want him to get hurt.
No, Skip. Look, the way I look at it like this, if they were to clinch a bye and you get home field and you want to take some of that workload off and down the stretch, I get it. But then you're messing up the chemistry. He's used to carrying the ball 20-plus times a game. Why would you break routine? Why would you get out of something? Look, Zeke is 21 years old. He's as fresh as he's ever going to be. He'll never be this fresh again. He'll never be 21 again. Skip, I'm going to get my money's worth. That $20 million guaranteed check he already done cashed, I need $20 million worth of production. And I'm going to get it.
I can't believe you answered my question literally.
What?
What do you do with Christmas ornaments?
Yeah,
I'm just saying, what are you going to do in LA with a Christmas ornament? You don't have a Christmas tree up.
Time out. You spying or something?
No, I know that you do not have a Christmas tree up. True or false, you put a Christmas tree up?
No, I didn't.
Exactly.
No mercy.
Our next guest is a rap legend. He's sold over 35 million albums, and he also runs the Snoop Youth Football League. Snoop, welcome to Undisputed.
Hey, thank y'all for having me.
Welcome. You know your man 2 Chainz sat in that chair yesterday, but I think you're going to be okay filling that chair
No,
today,
he good.
right?
I talked about him going to the Laker game, and then he said he was a Laker fan. How you from Atlanta at Atlanta versus Laker game? Unless you a Laker fan, because we won.
We talked about it yesterday. We'll definitely get into that. You were at the Rams' last home game as well, and this week a feud has been going on between Jeff Fisher and Erik Dickerson. Dickerson said he was banned from being on the sidelines for the Rams game. Fisher says he's welcome at the games, but he can't criticize the team and then get special treatment. Snoop, you posted a video on Instagram yesterday. Let's take a look at that.
Erik Dickerson is a Ram great. He should be given all access, but y'all want to let celebrities on the sideline and do what we want to do, and we don't have to do with the organization. I don't even give a about the Rams. But y'all gave me all kind of passes and let me move around and all kind of but y'all want to disrespect Erik Dickerson. Coach need to go. He's sorry as he don't know how to coach. He ain't won. He ain't gonna win. He need to go.
Snoop, do you think Jeff Fisher should be fired over this feud with Erik Dickerson?
How you feel, Snoop?
That was me? That was you? Are you sure that was me, Shannon, or was that you acting like me? No, I just feel like, certain things are to be upheld. And Erik Dickerson is a great when it comes to Los Angeles Rams. And you can't ever disrespect that. And like he said, a lot of you coaches will be replaced. He's going to always be a Los Angeles Rams. So you got to give him that respect and appreciate the fact that he's still connected to the organization and he's passionate about them not playing right. I'm a fan of the Steelers, and I always voice my opinion about the coaching staff, the players, and they don't get offended. They take it the right way, and either they get it right or they say, you know what, Snoop, you was right. They don't get offended. So Fisher shouldn't get offended. He should do a better job or either get up out of here.
A lot of that, because it's to be commended, because a lot of greats don't have nothing to do with the team anymore. They don't hang around. They don't live in the city in which they played. They rarely come back around. And for him to want to be a part of the Rams organization, because let's be real now, it's not like they win in titles. It's not like they're the Patriots over the last 20 years, whether they're in St. Louis or L.A. And so for them, for Jeff Fisher to say Erik Dickerson can't ask for special treatment because he was critical, the only question I have for Jeff Fisher, did he lie? Now, if he lied, you got a legitimate argument. But if he's telling the truth, what seems to be the problem? Because at the end of the day, as an analyst, my job is to critique and analyze what I see. Now, I have intimate knowledge because I played the game. I was inside the locker room, and I know what I'm looking for when I watch tape, or even when I just watch the game. That's why I can watch the game with no sound, Skip, because I know what I'm looking for. So for Coach Fisher to get so upset that, because normally we don't really get upset. If somebody tell a lie on us, I ain't really worried about that. But when you hit a little bit of that truth up in there,
Truth hurts.
man, you need to get up out. You can't come back anymore because you told the truth, and I didn't want the truth out there. So I'm with ED on this one, and Coach Fisher is wrong. But I'm just trying to figure out. Brian Billick, from 1999 to 2007, won 2 AFC North titles, won Super Bowl 35, and had 0 back-to-back losing seasons. He can't get a job. He can't even get an interview.
Oh, you talking about the coach that's on CBS to be doing this?
No. Brian Billick, the one that's on the NFL Network.
Yeah, but he used to coach.
You are?
Yeah, he was coaching Baltimore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a great coach.
He can't get a job. He can't even get an interview.
Probably
Jeff
because he know
Fisher.
how to win. They like coaches that like to lose. Like I'm watching the NFL industry. They don't really respect coaches that win. When you lose, like for example, Marvin Lewis. I hate to say it, you've been having a horrible season since you've been there. He should have been gone. But they keep reinstating him, giving him opportunities. And it's like, why did he keep getting opportunity and Billick's not getting opportunity?
Yeah, but at least Marvin keeps making the playoffs.
And losing playoff games.
Okay, I got you, and you're right about that, and that's an objective view. But Jeff Fisher has not made the playoffs since 2008. He hasn't won a playoff game since 2003. That's just wrong. And I'm going to repeat what you said on your last line of the Instagram. We cleaned it up a little bit here, but Coach need to go.
He got to go.
Coach need to go. I mean, how did you bring him in transition to here? I know he's a USC guy. You love USC, and Jeff plays way before your time, but Jeff played there. But how could he keep Jared Goff like in street clothes for half the...
When the rest of the NFL was putting in their rookies, giving them the opportunity to learn on the job. The guy ahead of Goff wasn't better than him, so he would have been better off learning on the job, making mistakes in the game as opposed to street clothes and the clipboard.
Well, look, I think Fisher, he's earned the right. He can stay in L.A. if he want to.
Yeah.
But he ain't earned the right to keep coaching the Los Angeles Rams.
He can go to the strip club if he wants to. There's a lot of he can spend up in there.
You got it. So, Snoop, just being around town, what is the feeling, the vibe you get about welcoming back the Rams? Are people down on them?
People love the Rams. Like this, they've been like Rams Raiders have a dear spot in the people's hearts of Los Angeles. The Rams more so because they won championships when they were in St. Louis. So the people are welcoming them back, but at the same time, they want a winning attitude. The defense is all right. The offense is skeptical, but the coaching is terrible. So it's like you
That's
got to
well
fix
said.
all of the above.
But Snoop, you know in L.A., if you don't win,
You out.
Unless you the Lakers and the Dodgers, if you don't win, these people it's too much to do.
Yeah.
I can go to the beach. I can go eat on somebody's patio. I ain't finna go watch no sorry team play football in
Well,
the hot
at
sun.
least put on an offensive show, which they've had no. It's been
Absolutely
a disaster.
none. Yeah. You mentioned being at the Lakers games. Let's talk about your Lakers. They lost last night to the Pelicans, but they played pretty well so far this season. Right now, they're tied for 8th in the West. Snoop, will your Lakers make the playoffs?
Definitely. I like where they're at. I like where the spirit of the team is. It's in their hands. They're youngsters, and they making mistakes, and they learning on the job. Like, to me, last year, Kobe was not in the way, but he was the priority. So to make sure that he went out the right way, which was the wrong way for the team because the team was failing while he was, leaving out on his little go-out party or whatnot. But I'm looking at it right now. These are youngsters. They're having fun. Luke is a great coach. We beat some great teams. We ain't just beat no regular teams that we supposed to beat. We beat teams that we wasn't supposed to beat. So I like that edge, and I feel like during the season, we'll get better and we'll gel.
You believe they're gonna make the playoffs? They're gonna be able to hold. Cause you saw what Utah's doing now. They done got
The
Gordon
West is
Hayward
hard.
back.
The West is hard to make the playoffs. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. The East. If they was in the East, we'd be a 2 or 3 seed.
Stop playing, Snoop. you understand?
You know what? There's some truth to that.
You might be a 4 or 5.
Yeah, but the East is. Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make. I said a couple of weeks ago, Skip and I did this, and I said they could possibly get the 8th seed. But when you look at Utah, Portland, and Houston, I don't believe they're gonna be able to hold those 3 teams off. I think they're gonna probably be 9. I don't think they're gonna make.
I'm
it.
hopeful.
sorry.
I feel like those other teams gonna have injuries. We've already had our injuries, so we passed the injury bug.
I'm with Snoop on this, but I told you the other day, I may be thinking with my heart instead of my head.
Right.
But I love what Luke, the spirit
Yes.
Luke has brought.
Yes.
He's freed it up. They're playing with a new sort of joy. And I know, look, I love Kobe Bryant, but they all had to sort of defer and watch Kobe be Kobe till it was over. And I get all that. But they're now free to
And they
fly.
playing as a team, and I see that Swaggy when he won the game the other day.
Yeah.
He gave reference to D'Angelo.
did.
He forgave him. That was special to
That was
me
pretty
because
special.
that was unforgivable what he did.
Oh, what was it, Snoop?
Man, you know that was unforgivable. But Swaggy forgave him, so I'll forgive him. It starts with the.
So if Swaggy hadn't forgave,
I didn't forgive him until Swaggy did.
Hey,
I'm a diehard.
I told that man on his old show, I said, no, sir, there are certain things that are
Well, I know.
unforgivable. I'm willing to give anybody a second chance, but you my boy,
Man.
I got to get you.
Hey,
That's what I'm saying.
That was craziness. Like, what was he thinking?
I
don't know.
Young, thrown
Yeah.
into LA, fame.
maybe.
This is a lot when you come here. This is a lot. It's not like going to a small city and you making it in a professional field. This is the biggest city for that. So it's like you can get caught up. And I think he got caught up.
He got caught up. I didn't love him coming out of college, but he has talent. He can shoot it better than I thought he could shoot it,
Yeah.
and they have missed him.
Yes.
And they have been beat up. Julius is not right. He's got a hip injury, and he's been about half of what he can be because he can be a monster,
Yes.
as Luke
He's a
called him,
double-double guy.
right?
Yes.
And they've been beat up down the line. But listen, with Jordan Clarkson and Lou Williams coming off the bench, I like this team. The West is tough, but Portland is not all that. I don't think
They can score. They just can't stop anybody from scoring. But Gordon Hayward is back in Utah.
I like them.
I'm telling you,
tough.
I like them too. I do.
They're gonna, and James Harden, you can't count that guy because he can go off and go get
And
you 40.
I gotta say this, man. Russell Westbrook is really, really making me love him this year.
really, as
The way
opposed to what you didn't used to, or
When seeing him with Durant, you really couldn't see what he really had.
I
It's
got it.
like it was a juggling act between who's gonna do it. Now it's like it's my team. I'm running this.
Get out of
follow
my
my
way.
lead.
Yep.
He's
Well, it's the
definitely
same
playing
thing with
two
James
chips on his
Harden.
shoulder.
I never thought James Harden had this kind of offensive skills when he was in OKC. And then he goes there, and you're like, this dude can legitimately average 30 a night
Yes.
and get you a double-digit assist.
Yes.
I know no one saw that. I mean, we thought Russell was special, but nobody saw triple-double the entire season possibility special.
He's MVP right now in my
So
mind.
summing it up, will Warriors run away with it?
No.
No?
No. See a lot of kinks in the armor, but
Mm.
they're good. I still feel like Cleveland is the one.
Snoop, tell him again, Snoop.
Man.
Snoop. What that
Cleveland is the one, man. LeBron done got over that hump now. We can't talk about him no
Uh-oh.
more. All that's over with. He
Uh-oh.
knows how to lead. He knows how to win, and he brought Cleveland a championship and job opportunities, and the city's behind him, and it's like, I used to lightweight, like, hate on him. because I'm a Laker.
Lightweight.
Yeah, I never did lightweight. But at the same time, I respect the growth that he's he showed us. He showed us that he's that man now. He's that man.
LeBron.
Mama, there go that man again.
No mercy. Colin Kaepernick has been in the news all season for his national anthem protests. Many NFL players started the season by joining Kaepernick in the protests, but the number has decreased as the season has gone on. Snoop is still with us. Snoop, what's your reaction to the protests that you've seen?
In the beginning, I understood it thoroughly because I'm one who's, had situations with police and I deal with it and I understand where he was coming from. But at the same time, it's like you have to really stand for it. And I don't believe he can do that and play football at the same time because there's too many rules and regulations and things that he has to deal with as opposed to being a revolutionary. But I do appreciate the fact that he brought something to America's attention that needed to be brought to their attention as far as knowing that there is a serious problem that we're dealing with outside of these sports and these activities that we do that we have a great time and we celebrate. So I like him for that and I appreciate him for that. And I feel like he did his part. Now it's up to the world to recognize and do their part because he's only one person. He's got to get back to focus on what he's doing. And if this is what he wants to do, he needs to leave football out of it and just do it full time, as far as my perspective.
No, go ahead.
Why do you think people are so upset at the protest, but not what he's protesting about?
Because they're not paying attention to what he's protesting about. What he's protesting about is reality. It's the truth. But like you say, the truth hurts. People don't like dealing with the truth. They would rather him just be a football player and just do his thing. But when he speaks to issues that really touch people and they really mean something, then you question him as opposed to questioning what he's protesting.
Interesting you use that word revolutionary because he was that for a while. And I've told Shannon many times, initially I cringed that he sat for the national anthem. I'm a God and country guy, but did he ever start to open some eyes and some ears that were shut closed? And I admired it because it had impact, but that's a fascinating perspective that you think you can't do both. And I think he got really torn because more and more the people who supported him needed more and more from him to become a revolutionary. And we talked about all of a sudden he's having to make statements about Fidel Castro and maybe he got a little out of his element where he's not quite ready to be that. Maybe at some point down the line after he's through football, maybe he becomes that guy that you're talking about.
He needs a team. Just like when you play football, you're supported by a team.
Yep.
When you want to be a revolutionary, you have to be supported by a team. He didn't have a team supporting him. He stood out there on his own, and then players and people came to flock to him, but he never had a team with structure, with protocol. What are we doing? Why are we addressing these situations? How are we going to handle it? What's the solution? He just brought it up, and it just was in the air, and everybody looked at him for answers, and he had no answers. He just was bringing it to the people to say that this is a situation that we need to pay attention to.
Well, he got a lot of blowback this weekend for Castro, and a lot of times, a lot of people have compared Castro to Stalin and Hitler and Mussolini and Pinochet in Chile, and I get part of it where he says, he did so much for the black Cubans, but you can't say because he did something for one and then gloss over what he did to the others, because he and his regime killed a lot of people. People died trying to leave that island of Cuba. They're still dying trying to leave. So if it was that good, why are people dying? People are not dying as bad as things are in the U.S. People aren't dying to leave. Now, they might die because of some other unforeseen instances, but people were dying. People are still. My question is, ask Yasiel Puig. Ask Jonas Sestebus.
And people that's escaped the country to come over here.
What they see, because we can
boats.
You and I can sit back and say, okay, this is what they said. How about people that have firsthand,
personal
intimate knowledge?
Yes.
Because that's the thing that the Cuban population, a lot of them in Miami, was so upset when he referenced Castro in a positive light. Because the people that got so upset at him have a personal, intimate knowledge with Fidel Castro. What Colin Kaepernick is protesting, people that have a personal, intimate knowledge with police brutality, they have a different look from a people that's never experienced it.
Exactly.
And so people that's never experienced it and he's protesting will stand up. You can do that some other time. But if it was something that had touched them,
then they
like
would
the
support
breast
it.
cancer. See,
Yes.
we all stand united for
Yes,
breast cancer
yes.
because we all know someone.
Somebody that's touched us that had
Maybe
it.
it's a family member, maybe it's a mother-in-law or a brother-in-law, whatever. So we know someone. But if you haven't had that intimate, personal feeling of someone being brutalized or someone's life being taken innocently, then you look at it from a totally different perspective.
So he's sort of kind of hypocritical in so many words because he's pushing this, but at the same time he's giving credit for this, and it's the same abuse that they've been taking. So it makes you hypocritical
Right.
to be able to speak on this topic and that topic. That's why I say he doesn't have a team. If he had a team, they would tell him, you can't say this. This is what you need to say. It's preparation. It's
Right.
like when you go on, he's not a quarterback that's just running out there calling what he wants. He has to prepare. He gets the plays. He gets the tape. He watches. That's what happens when you become a revolutionary. You have a play that you're going to run. It's not just running out there.
And
That's a great point.
Skip, I said he's painting on this canvas, but he started trying to touch on and paint over here. Let's finish this first. Your objective is the United States of America and the police brutality and the inequities of minorities in America. Cuba, hey, hopefully there'll be a time that I can address that. But there are more pertinent issues right here in America that I need to address.
And I don't even understand the Cuban thing, so let me not speak on something I'm not really aware of, because now I look bad when I say something that I'm thinking I'm representing positive, but the whole community is really mad at me now for saying something that I didn't even have no knowledge of.
So back in July, after what happened in Dallas, policeman died, obviously. Then I think it was the next day, you led a march with the game down to LAPD headquarters.
Yes, sir.
Talked to Police Chief Beck.
Yes, sir.
What came of that? What impact did that have?
I think it was a beautiful day because at that point, tensions were up and everybody was looking to do something negative. So what me and Game decided to do was put positive in the air and put together a peaceful march to go down to the police station. And we didn't even know that it was a day that the new recruits were getting, presented. Yeah, exactly. And then the mayor was there. So it turned out to be a great day because we came with a great spirit. And they welcomed us in there. We talked. We had great conversation. And we followed up. And we did a few things to build a relationship with communication. Because I feel like sometimes the police and the community have no communication. So that's the break right there. If we know you and I know you, hey, I'm trying to make it home. You trying to make it home. Hey, you all right, fix that. Next time I'm gonna let you go. As opposed to get against the wall and I don't know who you are. You look suspicious. So it's like building dialogue, building understanding. And these are new recruits. So they're fresh to the streets. And we're the guys that are on the streets. So once we did this, hopefully it's about communicating and bridging the gap and showing peace. Because I could have easily said, let's do this.
A look in the side of being Calvin and dealing with the police and being Snoop Dogg and dealing with the police.
Calvin had to deal with the police with no celebrity, harassed, arrested for nothing, pulled over, racially profiled. But Snoop Dogg is respected. He's a leader, a mentor. I'm someone who they respect. So it's more conversation as opposed to just, we're taking you down. So I've learned to maximize both worlds, Calvin and Snoop, because my friends still live in that world. My family still lives in that world. So I try to protect them both by being the one who steps in front of the bullet. So me stepping to the police, hopefully I'll step in front of a bullet and no one will get shot. No one will be arrested for nothing. It'll be a clear, peaceful conversation between law enforcement and civilian because we all want to make it home to our families.
Can I, because you have an intimate knowledge and I have somewhat of an intimate knowledge of being one way and then be, but do you feel an obligation? Because a lot of people, once they become successful of our race, they're like, I got mine, you get yours. That doesn't happen to me, so I'm not worried about that. Do you feel it's an obligation for you to give back and to talk positive and say, look, I know I've made it. I'm making millions, but there are a lot of guys that's not gonna make millions. There's a lot of people that's voices aren't going to be heard or not going to be seen.
I feel like I don't put the obligation because every celebrity, every entertainer, this is not their calling.
Right.
You have to know what your calling is. I'm great with kids. I'm great with people. I'm a people person. I'm the life of the party. So I take on that role. I accept it and I understand this is what I'm great at. So communication is one of my keys. So I can communicate with law enforcement, with gang members, with athletes, with entertainers. So I have that gift. So I love doing what I do. Okay. I love being in the position to give back and to help because I'm blessed. And you get more blessings when you give as opposed to receive.
So I'm going to ask you a sweeping question that's difficult to answer, but just from your heart, as you are speaking now, post-election, where are we in this country with race relations, just in the biggest picture? What's your gut feeling on this?
I feel like yesteryear is over with. You have so many people who grew up multicultural. You have so many people who are raised with white parents and black parents, and they're together, and white friends, black friends, Hispanic, Latino, everything that you can name. We're all in a world where we all pre-exist with each other. We're not in yesteryear. A lot of my friends aren't just black. They aren't just from neighborhoods. They've come from all walks of life. And people, like this table right here, look at all of us right here.
Look at it. Mm-hmm.
This is what the world is based on. It's not based on what it used to be. And I feel like the people that are in power, that are coming up, they were raised off of the peace and the love as opposed to the hate and the racism. So it's going to change in due time, but I just feel like we just doing a great thing by showing that people can exist with each other, like shows like this, the things when we have sporting events, anything that I do as far as concerts, I look in the crowd, it's not just all black, it's people. I perform for people, I love people, and I feel like the world that we live in, it's about people, not what color you are, where you come from, and it starts with us. When we given that platform, we have to exalt peace so people can, feed off of us.
That's some powerful insight.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us tomorrow when we're joined by our man Ray Lewis once again. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.